You're on.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of TV Enthusiasts TVE versus Marvel versus DC. I'm your host, Will Rorig, the Keeper of Comics. Joining me tonight is Tyson Gifford, who is the editor in chief of TV Enthusiast.
Hello. This is
Uh,
our cell phone edition.
this is our cell phone edition because my computer deci- decided it hated me and didn't want to work anymore. It died. Um, so yeah. uh,
just call it Felicity.
yeah,
She'll
yeah,
fix it in a jiffy.
just call Felicity.
She'll furiously type on her keyboard and everything will start working again.
Thanks. Tonight we're going to talk about this week's episodes of Flash, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, and Agent Carter. So let's begin with the Flash. Tonight, this week, an old adversary returned that probably Flash certainly wasn't expecting. Maybe you weren't expecting. Tyson, what were your thoughts?
Well, I was expecting it just because there were lots of previews for it.
I
I think
know.
I think it's nice that they kind of went into like the origin story because it's you're getting into the whole like timey wimey
Rob,
crisscrossing stuff, and you have to show this kind of like how he got enough information to go back and stuff, and
yeah,
so that kind of setup was nice. I don't understand how they ever thought that they could keep it within their timeline and capture him. Like, I don't know how they ever like thought like, well, your mother's gonna die no matter what we do, but let's capture him and everything will be fine.
capture him and everything will be fine. I know, right? I didn't quite understand like the time travel explanations they were going with here for why it was even possible. And I'm like, okay, I feel like this is probably bullshit. And it is.
Yeah.
The Flash and science don't mix.
It's just another case of where like they keep talking about how important the science is and that you can't work around it while the characters are trying to work around it as
Right.
they're saying it. It's not like one character saying you can't work around it and another character's like I'm gonna try. It's like a character's like you can't work around it. Let's arrest him, even though we can't arrest him.
We can't arrest him. Also, more BS Barry and Patty drama. This is annoying.
Yeah.
Stop it, Flash. Stop it.
At least she confirmed him now.
Yeah, at least she confirmed him now. But he was still going with that stupid. And let's see, every character on both Arrow and Flash knows Barry's secret identity, so that makes this plot thread even stupider.
Yeah.
But I don't know if the writers realize how ridiculous they look with this.
Yeah. It's just that old like Smallville habit, I mean, gotta keep the secret, gotta keep the secret, gotta make ridiculous claims about why keeping the secret so important
Right,
without
right.
really addressing any of the real issue of it. And it's like, there's plenty of like real stuff they could tap into in regards to like the importance of the secret without having to be like ridiculous like this.
Right, exactly. So Patty Spivot is gone. Did that storyline really go anywhere? I don't think so.
No, no, not at all. Uh, it's frustrating, and it's clear that that their goodbye was goodbye. It wasn't like, see, I know who you are now, everything's fine. It's like, see, I know who you are. You should have trusted me.
Yeah, exactly. That was the worst moment of the episode.
Yeah,
Damn it. Uh, the stuff with Wally and Iris and their mom was touching, some touching drama. Other than that, nothing really much happened this episode.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Kind
The
of,
first half of the season was all set up for Legends, and the second half they just kind of are meandering around.
yeah, they're spinning their wheels now, and it's like, okay. The first, I'm starting to think like this is like Arrow syndrome, where like the first season of The Flash was like so amazing. It was like running full speed on all cylinders. Stuff kept happening. There was intrigue throughout the season with Wells and Reverse Flash.
Hmm.
How they don't have that anymore. There wasn't even a mention of Zoom this episode. And it was like,
Yeah.
okay. Except for like the mentions that, Barry has to get faster or whatever. It's like, okay, but do something, Flash.
And Wells remains like wildly inconsistent.
Yes.
The Earth 2 Wells, you know? So
Uh,
it's
I thought it was an interesting Easter egg that that they found Jay Garrick's Earth One doppelganger, and he turned out to be Hunter Zolomon. And Hunter Zolomon is, if I'm remembering correctly, Hunter Zolomon is one of the Reverse Flashes in the comic books.
I read something about that where somebody was mentioning that, like saying that he's another like possibility for who Zoom is.
Right.
Because we had, I mean, who are the kind of the top runner possibilities now? We got Barry's dad, Earth 2 Barry's dad,
Yep.
Barry, Earth 2,
And now,
Hunter Zolomon.
yeah, Hunter Zolomon. If it does turn out to be Earth One Jay Garrick, then that's just gonna be so lame.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
I
Even if
like the swerve that like it makes us think that it's going to be an Earth 2 person and then it's not.
yeah,
Like I
right.
like that swerve, but yeah, it's just like
Even if he
he's a
has
character that hasn't been around. I'd rather have it be a character that's been around, you know?
right, exactly. The impact would be bigger if it's a character you knew versus a character that showed up in a cameo for one episode. It just and just happened to have the name of a big Flash villain. Just
Yeah.
I mean, the fact they gave him that name certainly points to the idea that they're going to do something else with that character in the future. Because otherwise,
Or it was just like a little fun tease.
or like his little fun tease, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's not. It's not great. Not great times in the old Flashverse.
No, this is starting to feel like season three Arrow, and it's like, really, this quick, especially with the material you're dealing with. Why are we meandering?
Yeah, it's amazing how slow the Flash is moving.
Yeah.
That's right, the best way to put it. There's just nothing happening. And Zoom was being played up as so creepy and stuff, and they're just not leveraging that. I think they're afraid to over leverage it, but when you'll go like several episodes without an appearance, you're not really you're not really at risk of over leveraging him.
Right, exactly. Uh,
That scene where Zoom like dragged Barry around and stuff was such a great scene.
it was such a great, yeah, it was one of the best moments of this season, like, or the first season. Um, they need to bring him back. They need to advance that storyline.
Yeah, yeah. It's I don't know what they're gonna do with it, but
I don't know. I think they're kind of in a quandary with that now. It's where the fact is he's too powerful for Barry to fight right now. Way too powerful. They obviously don't want to reveal the identity now. So it just feels to me like the writers don't know what to do with the character and
mhm.
kind of dodging it. until like closer to the end of the season.
I wonder if this is an issue of quality control. The first two seasons of Arrow were really good. Season 3 of Arrow went alongside The Flash. Season 3 of Arrow suffered a lot. And The Flash kind of did okay. Well, season 3 of Arrow really suffered. And then season 4 of Arrow and season 2 of Flash have both been kind of suffering.
Yeah, they both.
Now we have Legends of Tomorrow, so I wonder if this is like diminishing returns
I'm thinking so.
because they're spreading themselves too thin.
I'm thinking so.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It just tells me that like instead of like having basically the same group do every show, they probably should have kind of set up very specific teams for each one and then kind of kept the guys that were at the top of Arrow when Arrow was there as kind of like the overseers of the whole project underneath. And they do have teams divided up, but I don't think it's divided up enough. I think they're like, oh, we can handle 3 shows, and it's like you're not really handling it that well.
Exactly. So moving on, what did you think of Arrow?
Remind me what happened in Arrow this week. I'm kind of drawing a blank.
So okay, so like Diggle's brother was part of this evil army organization that
I remember now. Yes.
created Argus, and yeah, again, not much happened.
Yeah, this is when yeah, they took over Argus. They killed, well, some big stuff did happen. They killed Amanda Weller.
Kind of BS. I'm like, really? I wasn't expecting like them to just for her to go down that easy, especially
Yeah.
considering how much of a badass she's supposed to be.
Maybe she isn't down. I mean, this is this is the Arrowverse here, you know? I mean,
Yeah, this
we've seen characters survive worse.
survived worse. So I thought that was kind of a BS moment, and I realized this was more an episode about Diggle and Andy than about anything else. I thought the Felicity stuff was stupid.
Yeah. The her hallucination of her goth self.
Yeah, yeah. This is stupid. Why are they wasting our time with this?
Yeah. Um yeah. Just again, you know, not really moving forward much. I mean, did Damien Dark even have a presence this episode?
Nope. Funny enough, he was in this week's episode of Legends of Tomorrow, but not this week's
Yeah,
Flash.
but not Arrow this week. Yeah.
Yeah, not Arrow.
Uh,
Yeah.
Again, you know, it's they're shirking their responsibilities. So
Responsibility.
keep your seasonal story going. That's what's important.
Yeah. This was again. This seemed like more filler. Although I get this was like more of a character episode for Diggle than
Hmm.
else. I think they want to have like some kind of resolution to the whole Diggle Andy drama that was going on.
And now Andy's suddenly fixed.
Yeah, Andy's fixed now.
The one interesting thing that did come from that is we did see in Andy's kind of backstory flashback type moment, we see that basically the person that got him involved in all his corrupt shit, it wasn't like Damien Dark jumped in and, you know, corrupted him. It's the person who got him involved in the corrupt shit is the same guy that was on the island with Oliver that was running
Yeah,
weird operation.
they tied his backstory into like the Oliver Island backstory, which another thing, zero flashbacks to the island this episode.
Yeah.
Zero Oliver flashbacks, which that's a first for the series.
Yeah, it's a strange little turn.
Yeah, and
Um,
the flashbacks focused on Andy and Diggle. Because again, this was their episode, not Oliver's episode.
Yeah, they're going to be giving Diggle even more screen time, apparently, or even more like moments, which I think is a little unfortunate just because of how badly they've been mishandling Diggle as a character.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, you just kind of make his character really annoying, and then you give him like lots of screen time, and
Go into his backstory. They weren't really
it's like
interested.
you should have given him more screen time when he wasn't so annoying.
They weren't really interested too much in Diggle's backstory for like the first 3 seasons of this show.
And now he's like the main character of the show.
Yep. They're gonna rename the show to Spartan. Also,
we're gonna just name it Diggle.
also, I like the little line they had in there, where like Oliver was talking to Felicity and he gave her a code name. I didn't hear. Was it like Overseer, something like that?
I think it was, yeah. And he said I was gonna say Oracle, but it was taken.
Yeah.
So I guess that's implying that that this does exist in the Arrowverse.
So that
Like they're implying, I guess, that Batman and everything does exist in the universe. They did that with wasn't it? Didn't they have a moment, or I might be mixing up something from one of the movies or something, but wasn't Vandal Savage in the crossover? Didn't he say something about how he'd seen like Dark Knight's Fall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said I watched Men of Steel die in Dark Knight's Fall.
That's right. So this is kind of their way, like they can't have Batman in the universe. It's kind of like their way of acknowledging the stuff from the Batman side of it being in this universe without actually having it there.
Yep.
I guess because Barbara, of course, Oracle in the comics is Barbara Gordon.
And also it was a not so sly acknowledgement that yes, we are basically ripping off Oracle with Felicity because we can't use our Oracle itself. Deal with it.
It's felicical.
It's expecting that Birds of Prey episode with Felicity, Black Canary, and Huntress. This better happen, Mark Guggenheim.
Have they had Huntress on the show? On any of the shows?
No, not since I want to say season 2.
Yeah, she was on season 2, right? So, yeah.
She was on the first season and season 2. She hasn't been around lately, but yeah, she's definitely been on the show. She's just a villain in this show, but they could still totally make it work.
Yeah, I think I could see it coming. I don't know. Yeah, definitely both Flash and Arrow disappointed me again this week. Same kind of way I felt basically last week. The thing is like as bad as both of these seasons have been, there have been some cool moments here and there. We just haven't had them in a while. Like we mentioned, Zoom running around carrying Barry's limp body, and showing it off. That was awesome. That was a really cool scene.
Like the best villains they've done.
Yeah, and that's what we need more of. We need more like just really kind of cool, like impactful scenes. And it seems instead that they're really trying to focus in on the melodrama, which would be cool and all. Like when Lost did that, it's cool because they did it very well.
Very well. This does it very stupidly and ham-fistedly. Like this.
Yeah.
Do melodrama like the cheesiest daytime soap, and it's like, okay, that's great. Get back to beating people up.
I think they need like a rule set. They need to like create a rule set of like all of the problems of their show and then go like, okay, when we're making this season, if anything violates something on this rule set, there better be a damn good reason. Otherwise it doesn't make it into the show. And like things on that rule set need to be like love triangle, obvious shipping, like there needs to be like a list.
Moving on, Legends of Tomorrow had the second half of their series premiere this week. Instead of airing it as one 2-hour block, CW decided to have it air 1 week after the first part. So in this episode, we didn't end up leaving the 70s, which was something you were concerned about last week, wasn't it, Tyson?
I was concerned that they didn't play up the 70s as well as they could have. And I still don't think they necessarily did. I think the one thing they did that was kind of cool at the 70s was just the way Damien Dark was dressed in his guest appearance. He had the 70s vibe going.
Damien Dark 70s style.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to see that Damien Dark hasn't aged since the 70s. Also hinting that maybe he's immortal too.
Or something.
I mean, he doesn't age, clearly.
Or he doesn't show it, or, because he has mystical powers, so we don't know. Maybe he's like a 90-year-old man.
Yeah.
He just looks that way or something.
Makes you wonder how old he is.
Well, Ra's al Ghul is supposed to be really old too. That's when he was referencing that.
That's right, the Lazarus Pit. Damien Dark has access to Lazarus Pit waters, so he could stay young forever because he's got those waters.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. So that explains that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of what else happened in that episode that I either liked or didn't like.
We met young Professor Stein.
Yeah, that was a little fun. I liked what was it, White Canary flirting with him, and how it was unnerving the good doctor.
Yeah. It's like, and stop flirting with me.
So yeah, that was there was some okay stuff there. They kind of copped him out too much as like, oh, he's arrogant and blah blah. Like it's like they made him just come across a little too stupid, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Or too what's the way to say it? Unself-aware. Where he always came across as more so, I don't know. Mixed things. I think the thing I like the most about the episode was their big, and I don't like it because of the way they did it. I just like the result, which is that Hawkman died.
I was just going to bring that up. Yeah, we found out why Hawkman isn't a regular on the show, which was like a big question mark from the beginning because in all like Hawkman was always listed as a guest appearance.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't like a regular, and I'm wondering, well, Hawkman is so important to Hawkgirl, and he's so important to the Vandal Savage plot, and he's clearly along for a ride. So how is he not a full cast member? I'm like, oh, because they kill him off by the end of the pilot.
Yeah. By the end of the second part of the pilot, yeah. I think what I didn't like about the way that scene was, or all that stuff was executed, is like how everybody, including the villains, like for Carter, like we would have just kind of left off, but now that this Carter guy. I don't know, just like that kind of aspect of it, like having Captain Cold be like, I don't like it when somebody kills or nobody touches a member of my crew or something. It's like, does he really consider them to be his crew, or did he before that point? Like the only person I could imagine that he'd consider part of his crew besides Heatwave is White Canary.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they've been having fun.
because they've been having fun. I don't know if I buy the ending, but it seemed like good enough justification for them to continue, and so I'm like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Keep time
The
traveling.
good news is Hawkman's dead.
Yeah, the good news
The
is
bad news is they'll probably run into a previous version of him later on.
yeah, they'll find a way to get back. I mean, he will be back because he reincarnates. That's
Yeah,
like,
that's what I mean. Like they'll either go back in time and find a previous version of him, and there'll be
oh,
like some moment with him, or they'll go into the future and go to a future incarnation of him.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's like they're gonna do something. Like I don't know if that means they're gonna make him part of the crew again. I hope not. But they're going to at least have like an episode where that happens or something. And I'm dreading that just because, God, such awkward chemistry between the actors there.
Maybe the next Hawkman will be more charismatic.
Yeah. I don't like. I also didn't like that. What was it? Hot girl like suddenly got back all her memories. Like, already, no, I didn't tell him I loved him, and it's like, oh God,
Okay,
just get
whatever.
past this. Move
Yeah.
on. He might be your immortal love interest, but you clearly had no chemistry. Move on.
Yeah, yeah, move on. You had no chemistry. You had chemistry with Cisco for crying out loud.
Yeah, that was blowing. It's like they cast her knowing that they had to do this Legends of Tomorrow thing, and then like they started noticing, like, wait, she has really good chemistry with Cisco. Let's start exploring this. Oh, wait, gotta stop. Yeah, there. So let's attach her with this other guy that she has no chemistry at all with. It's like if they had never set her up with Cisco in the first place, like we wouldn't have as much of a dilemma about how bad this pairing up with Hawkeye is,
Right.
It would have just felt like an unnecessary, like we would have noticed the no chemistry, but it would have been like, oh yeah, whatever. But because they gave us a glimpse of what good chemistry can look like with Cisco, they they ruined it. They made it like they displayed their faults like on a pedestal. So
We got
yeah, it was,
the tension between the Atom and Captain Cold,
yeah.
which I think is going to be a thing throughout at least this first season. Um, again,
Yeah.
not a very remarkable episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. I hope they do something more exciting with the pro. Like, I don't think they really did anything with like the 70s. Like, I agree with you there. They went to the 70s, but they didn't really do anything with it. So I hope they do something more fun with the next episode.
Yeah. Um, Definitely. I think if they go back to a further back period, they're going to have to explore those ideas more. I mean, we already know that Jonah Hex is going to be in an episode. So hopefully that means they're going back to the Old West. Hopefully it doesn't mean that like they bring Jonah Hex to like the 70s. If they go back to that time, they're going to have to address certain things like, okay, well, once they're outside of the spaceship, there aren't any lights, there's only torchlight, and these kind of aspects of what they're going to have to do is just going to change the look of the show.
Yep.
For those kind of things. So I'm looking forward to more of that. I honestly want them to get more into that kind of stuff. And honestly, I'm hoping that Hot Guy dying off means that there's an opening on the roster and that they're not just continuing with the smaller group.
Oh yeah.
Because I always felt that they need. It doesn't make sense to me that like all of the people that they're bringing in on this journey are all from the same era. It's not as interesting.
Constantine.
Constantine would be from the same era, but I would dig that.
I would dig that too.
There's a story now that that Oliver Queen's going to be in it, but like an older version.
Yeah, I heard they're going to do which would be cool. It'd be awesome if they did, if they went to the future and older Oliver Queen was like the Dark Knight Returns Batman, like just a very like grizzled, gritty version of Green Arrow.
Well, they said he's going to be older, and it's going to be Stephen Amell,
Yeah,
and they're going to use makeup to make him look older and stuff. So yeah,
I
I think
that
that could be kind of cool.
would be like Felicity died. I went back to killing. Uh,
Oh yeah, she's the one in the box. Even though we saw in the previous episode that it wasn't her, that was just a hallucination of mine. I can hope, right, that he was just hallucinating her in the car.
yeah, yeah,
It's never gonna happen, but yeah, yeah, that kind of stuff is what's more interesting to me. I want them to embrace their Doctor Who-ness. You know?
yeah.
It's
They're
funny
not.
because I was watching the Legends of Tomorrow special again. Like the first time I was kind of half paying attention to it, and it just happened to be on TV again. And I wasn't doing anything, so I was just going. And I noticed a part where this is what I'm talking about is the special they aired before the show started. They aired it after the episode of The Flash, I think. The first episode of The Flash for the mid-season. And they just kind of had interviews with the cast and creators and talking about it. And they had one where it was Rory from Doctor Who who's playing, what's his name, the main guy and the captain of their ship, Rip Hunter, is it?
Yes.
Yes, they were talking to him, the actor, and he was mentioning the comparison to Doctor Who, and he said they're British, they travel in time, and they wear long coats. It's like otherwise, they're completely different shows or something. And I was like, no, you should be striving to be more like a Doctor Who type show. You know, you should be striving for that idea of like we can be any genre, we can be any time period, we can go anywhere and really play with concepts of like what's going on. You know, that's what they should be highlighting and putting as their main strength. So this, whenever I hear a character like downplaying that part, I'm like, no, that was your main strength.
Yep, totally.
It's all besides that, it's not like Doctor Who at all. We're gonna focus more on the melodrama of the characters.
Yeah.
Bad chemistry.
We do melodrama on Legends, I'm out. There's no melodrama on this show. Speaking of drama, Agent Carter, second episode this week. We got more into the conspiracy. What did you think?
It was kind of cool. I like the whole like ghost around Carter kind of thing. Like we didn't know
Right?
what that was. We just saw stuff flying around her.
Yeah,
And the reveal of what that was kind of funny. We got a lot more Howard Stark in this episode.
always love more Howard Stark.
I love the invasion of the club. It
Yeah,
was like the men's club or whatever, and he brings in all these women.
he rings in all these women. That was great.
That might have been my favorite part is when he was like talking to the guy and he's like, maybe I got it wrong. You might be seeing more of me. This place isn't so bad. And then Peggy Carter like walks by, like giving the signal, like, oh, I'm done here, and he's like, actually, I changed my mind. I hate this place and I'm never coming back. And he just like leaves. I thought that was great. So yeah. It's also interesting seeing the villain of this season, like learning about her new powers from the Dark Force stuff.
Yeah, yeah, some pretty freaky stuff. Apparently, it consumes people and then like draws back into her or something. I'm not really sure
Yeah.
what happened, but it was freaky.
And it looks like her scar, whatever, is growing
Yep, it
from
grows
that. So
where she consumes a soul.
that's kind of a cool thing they're doing there with that, because it's like she's an actress, she's a Hollywood actress, and her face is her career, and they're like, as she's becoming more powerful, she's like losing more of like what she needs for her career. So she's like destroying her career as she's advancing her villainy.
$10 says she's completely insane by the end of the season.
Oh yeah, I think that's gonna be very likely. And she's not gonna. I wonder how long it's gonna take before she's just no longer able to mask everything she has. At what point is she gonna have to wear a mask?
Exactly. Other than that, apparently, the leader of the Strategic Scientific Reserve, the SSR, the guy's named the blonde guy.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
apparently, he's being drawn now into this conspiracy by Red Foreman, who who
Red
is
Foreman and Laura Palmer's dad.
yeah, Red. Is that Laura Palmer's dad?
Yeah,
What? No,
that's Leland Palmer. No, not the same guy as Red Foreman, but he's on that council too.
oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
But yeah, apparently he's a big shot at the FBI, and apparently he's part of that council. And it's interesting now how he's being drawn into this, um, especially after Carter's warnings to him about it, and
mm-hmm.
was dismissing because there's no evidence. And now he saw the newspaper she was talking about at the end.
The newsreel, yeah, in the newspaper, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
He saw the newsreel too because she didn't quite believe her on that either. And you could see when he was watching the newsreel that he was like, he wasn't acting like scoffing at it or something as he was watching it. Like he knew I think he knows that Carter's right. He just doesn't know how to handle that information.
yeah. I
Like
think
he
it,
can't because of their current position, but he's also struggling with his career versus what's going on. And if it's not that big of a deal, if it's only a small issue that he has to brush aside, and if he can live with that or not, or I think that's kind of his dilemma. What I like is that he's such a sexist, and he's such like he has so many character traits that are so kind of like villainous because of like the time, but he's not being played that way outside of that. Like um when he's not like putting on his show or acting out, like you see him when he was watching the newsreel, you can see like he gets it. He realizes that what Peggy's saying is right. He doesn't like he might deny it to her, but he knows it.
mhm.
Uh and I like that that's how they're kind of playing this character, is like he has all these traits that are related to pride and to you know valuing his career over other certain things that are kind of getting in the way of him being a good person.
Right. Yeah, definitely, definitely. I think that's interesting. Mm, not much
Uh,
else to comment on this episode.
it's really cool. We mentioned before the Peggy's interracial love connection
Yeah, yeah.
being found again with I definitely enjoyed seeing him again on there,
Wait,
giving him a voice when Howard sprayed him in the mouth, and he's like, how do you feel? And he's like, that's disgusting.
not that bad. Yeah, it was cool how they brought him back, learning what his fate was after what happened. Uh,
hmm
glad we quick. He essentially becomes a ghost, and
Yeah.
pretty much. So that's cool. So he's gonna be around as a ghost for like who knows how long. Um,
Hmm.
that's kind of fun. I'm glad to have this character back so soon.
We
Uh,
also had a pretty cool action scene with an assassination attempt on Peggy.
yep. There was an assassination attempt on Peggy that got foiled. Like
They're
I knew.
fighting in the pool.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely still my favorite of the ones we talk about on this show. Agent
Yeah.
Carter.
This was the best episode. This was the episode of the week.
Yeah,
We start nominating like an episode like every week out of these as the episode of the week. I think this is it.
it's
Yes.
almost not fair. I think it's going to end up being Agent Carter every week until Agent Carter finishes,
All
or
right.
one of those other shows just does something amazing. I mean, I still, I think I don't know if I have any hope for Flash and Arrow to surprise me this season, and in a good way. I think there's still a chance Legends of Tomorrow could,
Yeah.
just by doing like a really fun kind of off the wall episode. But I don't know if I have any faith in Arrow or Flash to do that. Um, but yeah, so Agent Carter's leading 2 weeks in a row.
Agent Carter's leading. Sorry, Marvel is killing it. Step up your game, DC. Try dropping that melodrama. Notice how there's no melodrama in Agent Carter? Hmm,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
Or be interesting without forced melodrama.
yeah. That's the lesson DC should be respect. The DC shows I think are getting way better ratings than Agent Carter is.
Yep.
So they might not have the prestige, or they not have the prestige of the Agent Carter has right now, but they're getting more money.
Okay, you're
um,
doing like gangbusters for CW, and also melodrama is like part of the CW's, thing. So whatever.
yeah,
Um,
it's unfortunate, but it's just part of the fabric of the way things are. And you know what the thing is like I don't necessarily mind melodrama in and of itself. Like I'm a big anime fan. I think a lot of anime is heavy melodrama. I just think that you have to do it right. You have to give it the right amount of impact. You can't cop out on things once you've done it. Can't like kill a character in a big dramatic way and then like retcon it. What was that?
no, I said yeah, that's right.
Oh, okay. I think your
Once
audio cut out, or my part of my audio cut out at a second there.
something probably cut out. It's like you're right. Cough. Once upon a time, cough. Um,
I have not watched that in a while, by the way. It's off topic, but I have not watched that in a while just because I've been busy with all the spring stuff. And the more I hear about you guys were talking about it towards the end of the mid season, the less I'm like interested in like moving forward.
I mean, not really missing much if you don't. But
Yeah.
I guess that wraps it. That wraps it up then. Unless is there any news? I don't know of any news relating to Marvel or DC this week.
I don't know any. We'd already talked about the older Oliver Queen
Yeah,
showing up in Legends. So we've already kind of mentioned, like, within talking about the shows, like a few little tidbits that have come out. But besides that, not too much in as far as new information goes. I think there's been a lot more talk about the DC films recently in the
yeah,
news,
DC films.
which but those are unrelated to the DC TV show. So
Those are a little out of our wheelbox. So we won't be discussing that. Um, So I guess that's it then.
Yeah.
Do you got anything to plug, Tyson?
Uh, check out the site TVEnthusiast.com, and we got some stuff going on over there. I'm gonna put up hopefully before it airs. I'm gonna put up the whole season review for The Expanse. So I just saw it. I got the screener for the last two episodes, which are like airing back to back. And that's going to air on Tuesday. So I'm hoping to put it up like on Tuesday. So anybody that like watches it and like wants to go like, oh, I need to read somebody else's opinion on this or something, like it should be there and ready for them. So that's kind of my goal for this week, as far as like making sure I have something out specific, you know. So look out for that if you're into The Expanse. That should be up on Tuesday.
Awesome, awesome. That's great. We're looking forward to that. You can catch me on Voxel Hero. Um, Also, check out TVEnthusiast.com. Definitely. I assume if you're watching this, you're already checking out TVEnthusiast.com, because if not, why are you here?
You could just be watching on YouTube, I guess.
Yeah, seriously, lots more great stuff there. That's it for this week. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.